person, and he died the same way that you're going to die. It just comes, and then it's over. But then the transition happens, and his transition was just like yours. Only they're always a unique experience. And then after the transition, he did the same thing that you will do, that you have done in every lifetime that you've ever had. And yes, reincarnation is real. You review your moment points, otherwise known as Akashic. So let's talk about Akashic record for just a moment. It's a very strange word, Akashic. And then somebody added record to it. And then somebody said the book of record. And then somebody said the Akashic is a book. And we said, well, it's not a book at all. It's an energy marker in the grid. It might be several of them. And so the Akashic record, it's not a record, it's a string. And it goes from flag to flag to flag to flag. It's an energy flag, you know, like a little flag you put on your notebook so that you can find the page. It's like a highlighter. And Akashic is simply your higher being, not your guide. Your higher being says, this phase of her life, or this decision that he made, this unfortunate incident, flag all of those. I want those are going to be meaningful for the conversation that we have when the transition is complete. So the Akashic is the highlights, could be the lowlights, but they're important moments that your higher being wants you to review so that you can see the pattern, because it's a meaningful conversation that's had over here. There is no human being that can give a reading on the Akashic records, because you can't read the grid, and you can't read energy markers, and you can't read the string of the highlight reel. You can't. But you can't, because you can't read the energy field that is no longer being used. If you go psychic, then you are tuning into the energy field of other human beings that are still here. That's what going psychic is. We don't want any more psychic readings, because you're not getting guidance. You're getting memories from another person. We want no more psychic readings. We love people, but we don't like psychic readings, because you're not getting guidance. You're not getting guidance. You're not getting conversation from the other side. We hate to tell you all that, but you're not. Clairvoyant mediums, you're getting some. Channeled mediums, you're getting more. Very, very, very good channeled readings, you're getting a lot more. But the Akashic moments are in the energy field. And once you are done with the transition, you don't use the energy field anymore. So you're not reading an Akashic record. Anybody that says that doesn't know what they're talking about. They might be connected to their guide, and their guide is providing conversation, but probably not. So what are we doing? We're creating channeled people, and we're creating people that love giving readings, so that maybe there's going to be a new flavor of readings in the world before long, channeled mediumship readings. And then you're hearing in readings conversations like this. So if you like tonight, do come back and talk to us again in these conversations with Yeshua, or sit down private one-on-one. If you want to have a private group, then we can arrange that as well. They're fun. We like it. We like being able to give you guidance. So the transition goes like this. You got to be a person first. So when you decide to be a person, you take that energy field and you create the chakra system in it, and you create the grid system in it, and you put soul intentions in it. That's the first thought that goes in the grid. So your pre-birth intentions are your life intentions. That's what we mean by soul intentions. They are the first thought that are put in the grid. They've been there the longest, so they have the most energy to them. And then that energy field comes down from beyond, and it integrates with your teeny tiny newborn body right before birth. It's right before birth. The two things are woven together. And then it is with you your whole life. It is the memory catcher. You all know what a dream catcher is. Well, picture your energy field, picture the grid like a dream catcher, only it's catching all of your life experience, and it goes inside the lines of the grid. It's what it is. It holds life experience, all memories, all emotions. After death, well, let's back up. Right before, you have a death moment, and then you have death decision. You have a doctor or a physician or someone that says this person is now deceased because they identify it by heartbeat or something else. You have a death moment that precedes that by a teeny tiny bit. And that's when that energy field is unwoven from your physical body. And your physical body stays here and slows down and succumbs. And then the non-physical part of you, the energy field, is what transitions through the dimensions. As you are you are the energy field in that moment. As you transition, the energy field is you, and you are transitioning still with the energy field. All negative emotion is being removed. So you have all memory, but none of the tendency to be mean, none of the tendency to second guess, none of the tendency to doubt, none of the tendency to worry. You have perfectly clear ability to analyze your life. And so when that transition is done, then you have a sit-down conversation with your guide. Just start calling them your mentor or your teacher, because they are your teacher. They are your guide. They've gone on this field trip with you, and they would really, really like it if you could hear them, so you have a better life. And then you have less things to review with them. And then you review your life, and then you go back to non-physical life. And there is life over here. You know people. And you go back and you say, hey, everybody, I'm finished. I'm back. What's been going on since I was gone? And they say, well, a whole bunch of stuff. How'd you do? Well, I did bad. I didn't get anything done. None of the life intentions, not one of them. I mean, a couple of things, but nothing, none of the hard stuff. You got to do them all over again. I know. Did you pick out lifetime yet? Do you know what you're going to do? My teacher said I had to do it pretty soon. So I'm going to start looking. I think I'm going to pick the same soul family, though. Not the same parents. I'm not going back in that quick. But same soul family. I think my Grandpa Joe. I might pick my Grandpa Joe, because he was thinking about having a lifetime like in the next 10 years or so. And if he does, and if he finds true love, then I want to be their kid, because I really like being in his nuclear family. But only if he chooses true love, because I don't want to have that other problem that I had. There was not enough love in my life. So I'm going to build in love. So if Grandpa Joe marries with true love, I'm absolutely going to be his kid. And the timing is about right. So anyway, so what are you guys doing? How was your lifetime? You were there when I was there, right? I died. Well, obviously you're over here. I died quick. I was like 17. I just got in a car accident. How'd you do that? Oh, it was history class. History class caused me to be afraid, and I didn't even know it until after I died. History class, with all that war and blood and guts and stuff like that, it didn't sit well in the grid. I didn't know it. So I got in the car, pressed the gas too soon, and I died. I didn't get anything done. Well, when are you going back? Not for a while. I just got some other things I want to do. Yeah. It was fun though. I can't wait to do it again, but mine's going to be, we probably won't be in the world at the same time. You just have conversations like that with everybody you know. And yes, history books and history and studying about all wars and this war and that war and how many people died in this one and how they did it. And look at this sword. This is how you use it. No, it's not good. It's not good. It's not good. You can create quantity in the grid of fear and not even know it. And, why do you pick your nails? Why do you get hangnails? Why do you trip? Why do you look down? Why do you, scuff your shoes? It's all fear. That's all fear starting to grow. And anybody that soaks in a lot of fear, you could have a very gentle life planned. And then you're stuck in history of the world history. And now what does world history teach? It doesn't teach you about everybody's favorite flower. It teaches about world history is who conquered who, when, and how bad did it happen. History of the world needs to shift away from how civilizations conquered other civilizations. It's about the history of conquering. It's not the history of the world. History of the world is how many flowers grew yesterday based on today. We're not kidding. There's too much death and blood and gore and violence in the world taken in as youngsters. You start learning about war in about 4th grade. And it's really hard on the grid of some people who are hoping to have a very peaceful, gentle, friendly life. Not everybody builds in peaceful and friendly. Some people, they don't build in aggravation either, but some people build in bold and confident. And so their friendliness might be 5th in line instead of 1st in line. But anybody that's got friendly 1st in line, those history books are really, really difficult on you on the inside. So sometimes you don't know why your life is the way it is. And unfortunately, it's just movies and it's classwork and it's having to study hard on the dates and places of who killed who and why, because it doesn't make any sense to learn about why people kill each other. That's just not a worthwhile study habit. And the grid shows up that way. So after you transition back into the non-physical, do we take our current mind's knowledge with us? Yes, because it's the grid that transitions. Your human physical brain is what keeps all of your body functions going, and it does stay here. Your body stays here. But the non-physical body, it is your first mind, the outer mind, the non-physical mind. It's your first mind, and it's where all memories reside. And that is what transitions. Now, or do we instantly know all things like Jesus does? Well, that's Christian upbringing that is good, because Jesus does know all things now. Jesus also had an amazing life because Jesus built in to do some amazing things. And when Jesus finished the transition, and when Jesus finished the review of his Akash, or review of his moment points, the highlight reel, then Jesus absorbed memory from his own lifetimes first, and then the higher being, and then the higher being, and then the higher being. And that's what all of you do. And then you just go on with whatever you're going to do next. You are your own person. When Carol dies, she'll still be Carol, but she'll be Carol and then her own stream of consciousness. She'll be Carol within the bigger entity, and then she'll be Carol within the even bigger entity, and then she'll be Carol within the even bigger entity. It's like mind melding with everybody else. But you also get to isolate your thought and be yourself. And so, yes, you do get to go meet your own loved ones. And your loved ones will be that person that you knew. But then you'll also be able to flip back and forth between communicating with their broader perspective as well as their individual personality. And it's a beautiful conveyance that you will have. Jesus did it, but every human being has the same experience. Now, what you review is your highlight reel based on what your higher self wants you to look at. And then you can look at anything else in it that you want. How many moment points do you have? It all depends on your life. But you always have at least a few. Jesus had a few, and you'll have a few. People have had a really, really difficult life. They have at least a few. If you had a horrendous life or a hellish life, you have at least a few. You do not go day by day by day. by day, by day, by day. So when you have a conversation with a loved one who just passed, they might still be looking at their life. They might not know their whole entire life. So if you say, I had a baby last week and my grandmother's been gone a month, does she know? She might not know. She might not know, but it'll take her a fraction of a second to tie in with your guide and get all the information about it, as well as look into your grid and read it for herself if she chooses to do so. That's Pillar 1 studies, just so you know.